Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys, what's going on? We're here. We're live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Life podcast. My name is Joe Ingram, aka Chicago Joe. You might notice a new microphone in front of my face. We're trying to make this a professional ship. And with that said, we have a professional woman today. Well, that's mine for sure. Whoa, that sounds great. Okay. So she is this woman today, our guest today. You've seen her before. You might not recognize her today. She's got like the hoodie on. She's got the headset on. She looks real professional. But you've definitely seen her if you watch Poker News. You've seen her if you listen to anything poker related, probably on the little videos, because she's always on the video. She always looks great on the video. She's the beautiful blonde woman that does all those things. She's a producer, a presenter for Poker News, as I read on her bio. She loves wine. I'm pretty sure she might be addicted to wine.
Yes, I have a problem for sure.
We're gonna discuss some interviewing strategy, interviewing GTO. I don't know if she knows. Do you know what GTO is, Sarah?
Game Theory Optimal. I'm with you.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Most of the people on the other side of things, they're like, "Well, what's GTO? What does GTO mean, Joe? What is this all about?" And then I have to explain it to them, and then yeah. So
no,
yeah,
I've got you.
Her name is Sarah Herring, aka Sarah Grant, aka Sarah Herring Grant. What's up, Sarah?
AKA Anti-Chardonnay. Yeah, you got to throw in the Sarah Grant nowadays because it's some people are like a two-name person and some people are a one-name person. Like, what's up, Colin? I don't know. What's up, Sarah Grant? I've always been. My mom calls me Sarah Grant. Like, I've been a two-name person my whole life, so it's been a tough transition. I got married last year, and people don't call me Sarah Herring. It's just I think people just don't know what to do anymore. So we've moved fully into Anti-Chardonnay, which I probably should get away from that too. I don't think I'm getting any extra jobs when people call me Anti-Chardonnay. No, she's really professional.
Yeah, I mean, who are you thinking about hiring today? Well, we got this nice young woman. Her nickname, we call her Anti-Chardonnay. You're like, what? Is she an alcoholic? Or tell me more about her.
Drunk hot mess girl. Oh yeah, we want to hire her right now. Let's go.
Why'd you? Do you have to change your last name when you get married? Can't you keep your same name if you want to?
Yeah, I think you can. And it's interesting because I thought about it. I feel like back in the day when people were getting married when they were, 18, 19, 20, before they had careers, it was probably a lot easier for a woman to change her name, and it's a whole new ball game now. That being said, there's all these other things that make it harder when you're married and you don't share the same name. Like, what if someday I had kids and my kids have a different last name than me? Like, that's weird. You go to pick them up from school and you're like, oh, I'm someone else, but really I'm their mom. Or credit cards. I don't know. I feel like, it's 6 one dozen half the other. And I was most worried. I used to be a filmmaker, and so a filmmaker's their baby is their IMDb. That's where you worked super hard to build your name on the internet. And I was most worried that I was letting go of that piece of my life. Sarah Grant on IMDb was just gonna be destroyed. But I haven't changed it on IMDb yet. And if I ever go back to the film world, who knows? Maybe I have to change my name back.
Wow, this sounds like this sounds like it was a very tense part of your life. Like, this decision,
dude, being a woman, it's really obnoxious sometimes. But I also feel like it's kind of respectful too of your husband. It's like marriage is sort of a traditional thing in some senses. So I felt like, yeah, it was the way to go. But I definitely thought a lot about it. And it's funny because say like Christy Arnett, for example. Her name, like on her passport and when she books hotels and things like this, is Christy Moreno. That's her real name now because she got married too. But she keeps her like stage name of Christy Arnett. I just think that's too complicated. Like, I can't live this life with 2 names. I feel like things will get crazy. I got to streamline. I got enough crazy going on. I got to keep things streamlined. Yeah, so there's the name monologue. You'll never have to deal with it unless you change your name officially to Kim Jong Joey.
I think the people that watch on Twitch that are banned by me would like it if I changed my name to Kim Jong Joey because we do run a pretty strict tight ship around here. Guys, we are streaming this on YouTube and on Twitch. If you guys have any comments, questions, please ask them in either chat. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you watch on YouTube too because you get to hear. I feel like the audio on YouTube might be a little bit more GTO, but But yeah,
this is the double up. I feel like I should be doing that too. Like I was doing Twitch just on Twitch, and I kept thinking to myself, the format of just like two people talking kind of works better on YouTube anyways. It's like set up for that. I didn't even know you could do both. You might have to teach me some tricks.
Well, I don't know. I try not to do much research about people before they come on. I try not to look them up, but I do know, I did know a little bit about you, that you're married to one bad motherfucker, of course. And listen, there's like women that they're married, they have a boyfriend you might take a shot at. You don't take a shot at Sarah because listen, man, if you don't know who she's married to, you got to Google it, because give people a breakdown. They don't know if they don't know much about who you're married to.
Okay, so my husband is Heath Herring, the Texas Crazy Horse. And if you want to, like, I have a standard thing, like, when I meet someone in the bar or something and they're hitting on me, like, I have a standard video that I show them. Actually, it's a funny story. One time my husband and I were in a strip club before we got married, and this guy, he wouldn't stop hitting on me. Heath was in the bathroom, and I was like, dude, bro, listen, you got to get away from me. Like my boyfriend's in the bathroom, but like, he's a big boy. He's like, I don't care. I don't really care. He's British. That was my British accent.
That's a good one.
I was like, no, seriously, I got to let you know. And then I was like, how am I going to get this guy off me? Like, I don't know what to do. So there's a video on YouTube that even people who don't like fighting have probably seen, The Kiss of Death.
Right.
It's he used to fight in Pride, K1, UFC, and I think this was a K1 fight, maybe a Pride, I'm not sure. But this guy kisses him before the fight. They're like facing off, and the guy goes in for a kiss, and my husband knocks him out before the fight. And it's like 13 seconds, so you can really just get the gist right quick. So I showed that guy the video. He still didn't go away. He ended up buying us drinks the whole night, which I'm sure was like, $5,000. Once Heath came over, he like learned right quick what was up. But yeah, if you want to know about the Texas Crazy Horse, that video really just sums it up, I would say. He's a big boy.
How tall is he? He looks
6'4".
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, he looks tall. I mean, I'm pretty tall, but he's got a couple inches on me. He looks like he weighs like 250 or 260 or something.
270 walking around, but yeah, 260 when he's fighting. And it's crazy because I think I always was just kind of attracted to like tall, skinny guys. I don't know. It was just my thing. I was always into like the kind of wavy model type, which makes no sense because I am not the wavy model type. Maybe you want what you want or whatever. But then, man, I remember the first time Heath and I were like wrestling around, and I thought I was really tough. I used to say like, I have rhino strength. Like I feel for a woman, like I'm a big woman. I'm 5'9", like no one needs to know how much I weigh, but like I'm not a small girl. And I was used to like being able to throw down a little bit. And I remember like, he was just like a child, like he was like holding my head down and my whole body with like one arm. And I was just like, okay, this is a new ball game. Like I'm in a new game. And yeah, that was the one.
Team Ivy on Twitch says, holy shit, you're married to that guy. That's crazy. I've seen that video. What's funny is I saw the video. I've seen that video obviously a bunch of times. But yeah, I looked up. I was looking at some of his fights. I'm like, I want to check out his fights. And then that was the first video. I was like, no shit, that's the same guy where he knocks him out after the guy kisses him, which is weird. Why the guy's kissing him in the first place?
What was going on? I don't know. Yeah, and it's funny because I'm not that into fighting. People always want to talk to me about fighting and what's happening in the fighting world, and like I actually. It totally freaks me out to watch it for the most part. Like, I just think I don't like to, I'm a woman, like, and I know there's lots of women who like fighting, but like, I don't like to see people getting hit and hurt. And I'm like, oh, get off. Like, no, he's fine. Like, he's done. Leave him alone. Like, so, but I have, of course, gone back and watched all of Heath's fights. And I think that's why I like that clip so much is it's kind of funny and fun and different. Like it's like without having to be like, here's a highlight reel of my husband, like getting beat up and beating other people up. It's like, here's a little snapshot. Here's a little candy for your eyes. Also, how do you not do research before you interview people? Like, I want to hear, well, like that's not GTO normally, right? What's that strategy all about?
I think I like to, I mean, I don't like looking, well, most people I have on here, my friends for like, we've known each other. We played poker together online for a quite long time. So I know of them or I know about them, but some people I don't know anything about. I just like to learn about them live. So like, you say that, like, I ask you questions about that. I don't want to have it like my notes are very short. Like I just want to, I don't want to have I don't want to go in with any ideas. I just like learning about people on the spot. I feel like that makes for some fun conversation for me.
And for your viewers too, like because since they probably didn't do any research, it's like, oh, I'm learning at the same time. We're all getting to know each other together.
I guess so. Well, I mean, some of these, some of the people might do some research because they might be very curious about the guest. But as I say, like, oh, this person's coming on, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna look her up, or I'm gonna find out about her. And they're like, hey, Joey, can you ask her about this, or can you ask her about that, or can you ask him about this? So
I like it.
Yeah, guys on YouTube, who we got? Bruno, what's up, man? What's up, Poppy? Bruno, congratulations! One of my hardcore viewers, Bruno Malvazali from Brazil. He just got he was diagnosed with cancer, and he just got over it. They just found out that he's clear. We were all, we said some wishes for him. And
shut the front door. How old is he?
I think Bruno's in his 30s. He called in one time, man. He told us about the Brazilian women down there. He's a lawyer. He just quit his job maybe about 6 or 7 months ago. And yeah, man, he just gave me the update about 2 days ago. So Bruno, much love. And I hope you're doing well, Poppy.
Congratulations, bro. That's amazing. I feel like there's so many varying theories and thoughts and ideas and stuff about how to beat that I just can't even imagine trying to decide like what direction to go, I
agree.
Mad props.
me and Bruno talk about Brazilian women sometimes. I told him if things went better, I'd come down there. We'd go meet some Brazilian women, and we'd talk about it on the podcast. So looks like I'll be going to Brazil soon, Bruno. I'll be checking you out, kid.
That sounds, you can't beat them. I'm telling you what, those Brazilian girls, if you're into butts especially, which any good guy is.
Exactly. That's what we've heard. Daniele, what's up, Poppy? Metalhead, what's up, Metalhead? Metalhead said, you and Baby Metalhead? What's up? I love Baby Metalhead. Baby Metalhead watches the podcast too. I got to give a shout out to Baby Metalhead. She's like 1 or 2 or something like that. But yeah, Matique says, yeah, it's a little kid I've seen. It's a cool kid though. Matique says, wow, one of the best women in poker. Awesome. Poppy.
I love you, guy. I love you.
It's interesting. So I was in Vegas this summer, and me and Jen Shahade, she's a friend of mine, been on the podcast a couple times, and she was like, we were talking about I want to do like some sort of like women podcast, and she was like, do you know Sarah Grant, poker? I was like, not really. I mean, I've seen her in videos. I don't know much about her. She's like, you'd like her. You guys have the same. You'd really like her. You guys have the same style. You guys ask the same sexual weird fucking questions and stuff like that. He's like, I'm like, are you sure? Okay. And then next time I talk to her, she's like, did you talk to Sarah yet? You'd like her. I just get her on. You'd like her. I'm like, okay, Jen, I got you. Okay,
I thought the same thing when I was watching your show, and someone said like, when are you guys going to talk about poker? And like, that is what I'm answering every single time. I'm like, if you want to have a strategy, there's strategy out there, and that's cool, and we can talk about that. But this is not all about that. We're also trying to get to know people on a deeper level. Let's strip it down a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's smile sometimes.
Exactly, and that's sort of like the idea behind the stuff I do is, and that's what Jen said to me too. She was like, no, like that's exactly what she's like. So obviously after talking with you for a couple minutes, I can definitely tell that you are the same way. So it's it's gonna be fun. Derek says, ask her what IMDb credit she is most proud of.
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. It's funny because I would say, so my goal in the film world was to be a first AD, a first assistant director. So for those who don't know, it's basically like a film set manager. So you basically set up everything and do everything. So the director can just like be with the actors and be, pulling the performances from the actors. So you're, yelling, rolling, you're yelling, cut, you just like run the set basically. And that was my goal. So I guess I would say the first time that I got to first AD a show myself was a movie called The People I've Slept With. And it was just a really fun, cool experience. My director was this gay Asian boy. Okay. So we were like total opposites, especially like at the time I had super short hair and like lots of piercings. And so I was like the masculine energy on the set, I think. And he was kind of like the sweet, soft energy. And we just were, it was a good fit. It was a great show. And my second AD, so that's basically the person who's not on the set, but running everything from, say, a trailer or somewhere else. My second AD canceled on me the night before the shoot. So my best friend who had just moved to LA, who had no idea about movies, I hired her on as my second AD and like trained her kind of during the show. And it was random and weird, but I don't think it's, it's not the most distinguished movie on my credits for sure. I guess if people, I worked on Hancock. I was in the working especially on the stunt stuff on Hancock, like with we would like close down LA and there was explosions and helicopters and like that was super cool. And the people no, He's Just Not That Into You. That was probably the most famous talent that I got to work with.
I'm trying to think, what was that one about? That who was in that one?
He's Just Not That Into You.
That was with the one girl.
It was like Jennifer Aniston.
Is it ensemble cast?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, with Justin Long or something like that, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was like everyone. I remember like I was, like Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck. I was like, okay, I've made it. Like I've made it now. But yeah, they're just totally different types of experiences, working on like an indie set and working on like a super, super big production like that. They're just really different experiences, but both really cool in different ways.
So you decided to quit doing that to play poker or do poker? What, you still don't do that, or what happened?
Okay, yeah. So actually it's all connected to the Texas Crazy Horse. So I did a favor for a friend to work on this fight movie, which was initially entitled Sex, Blood, and Fights. Like, really creative. Like, I was just like, I got the call sheet for the first day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a total shit show. And it had like GSP and Rampage and oh gosh, who's the like really skinny black guy who just like he had his legs snapped off?
Oh, Anderson Silva.
Yeah, Anderson Silva, and just everyone basically, everyone in the fight world. And Heath actually had a role in the movie. He was he played like the best friend of the lead character, and so I worked on that show, and it just like weirdly happened that I ended up driving Heath home one night. Like that's not supposed to happen. Like an AD is not driving people around, but weird circumstances. Okay. And of course, like LA, it's bad traffic. And so we were in the car for probably like 2 hours together or something. And I just am assuming, and I don't do this anymore, but at that time when I lived in LA, I think I was just a much more judgmental person. And I also think that that's a result of like me being more insecure when I was living there, because there's like just way too many hot chicks there, and there's just like way too many people with money, and I think I was insecure, so I was kind of judgy. So I was just like, oh, all these fighters are just probably total idiots. And like, do you know that thought process? Like, if you're a really good athlete, you must be an idiot. Like, that's just it's so stupid, but that's what I was thinking. And so I'm driving along, and I'm like, oh, I've just lived in these different countries, and I went to NYU, and like I'm in this world where I think that I'm just like the best thing ever. And he's like, yeah, I lived in Holland for 5 years, and I speak 4 or 5 languages, and like basically everything that I thought was super cool that I had done, he had done like way better. And it was pretty impressive. So we spent the next couple of weeks hanging out, and then we dated kind of in between LA and Vegas. So he was living in Vegas training and stuff still, and we dated like that for a while. Then I got arrested at the airport with
Okay, I didn't see this one coming.
Yep. Okay. So that movie, Sex, Blood, and Fights, had some like pickup days, like at one point. So you're basically just going in and like getting little cuts and things that the editor needs. And at the end of the shoot, I ended up with some of the props. So I had brass knuckles in my purse from the end of this day of shooting. And then Heath was like, come to Vegas. And I'm like, fly by the seat of my pants girl. I was like, cool, let's go. So I have some drinks. I get ready to go to Vegas, and I'm going through the airport security line, and they're like, is this your purse? Yeah. And then they pull out the brass knuckles. And so in California, they have really hard, like anti-gang laws, basically. So not only are brass knuckles, a deadly weapon, but it's also like this really special crime in California. And then also it's a federal crime because I brought it into an airport. So but I'm thinking like it's not a big deal. I show him my call sheet. I'm like, I'm an AD. You can call the, actors. You can call the directors. I'm thinking like, oh, it's going to be fine. And even the it was Bob Hope Airport, by the way, Burbank, which is a really small airport. So the TSA people were like, well, you've got to like go get interrogated, but you can probably catch a flight later tonight. Like they didn't even know how serious this was. So long story short, I get arrested fully, like go to LA County Jail. I'm like losing it at this point, like bawling, like they like take your clothes, and there's all these like, Latina crews, and like I'm just like, what is happening? I want to go see Heath. it turns out I ended up having to serve 40 8-hour days of community service. So basically 2 months straight of community service, even though I had all the documents that this was not it was not my possession, but they don't care. And then also we had to pay $10,000 for an attorney. And fortunately, Heath paid for my attorney. But basically, for that 2 months, I had to find a place to live and I wasn't going to be able to work. So Heath and I decided after my arrest that I would live in Vegas with him, serve my community service here because he had a connection. And this is what it's all about. So if I was to serve my community service in LA, I'd be like picking up trash on the side of the freeway, right? But Heath like knows someone and like got me this attorney, so I got to serve my community service in Vegas at a homeless youth shelter. So like I was teaching kids how to shoot video and just kind of like trying to usher them into being grown-ups. And then after that, we moved to Palm Springs, and Heath invested in this bar restaurant called the Tilted Kilt. It's basically like Hooters, but like Irish Hooters.
I've seen that one.
And then, so it just sort of turned out like there wasn't any film work in Vegas. We lived there for like 6 months. That didn't work out. And I'll tell you this. Basically, fighters are like catnip for sluts. Like sluts just love fighters. So he like owns this restaurant. He's like part owner in this restaurant, and all these girls are just like, oh my gosh, Heath. So that was like one thing that was really hard and annoying. But they had other problems with the restaurant. I was happy to leave Palm Springs. Like that is not my place. So we came back to Vegas, and then I was just looking for work when we came back to Vegas. I was trying to find production work out here, and so it was kind of getting to the point where it was like, either I'm going to be in movies or I'm going to be with Heath. And it actually was not as hard of a decision as I would have thought. And then I feel like I got super blessed. So I go on Craigslist, and Poker News is looking for someone with a production background to kind of like reel in their video team. They needed someone to help schedule and someone to help get things a little more organized. At the time, I think the whole team was a little bit crazy, and poker was really crazy at that time. So it was, I think, 2010, maybe 2009. No, 2010. So everyone had lots of money and the teams were really big. Like I think Poker News had like a 50-something person team that summer. So I booked the travel for the WSOP that year and the housing and scheduled. And then after I started working for Poker News with that, and they got like more on my background, about a year later, so I just kept working behind the camera still, which is what I had always done. And then about a year later, so we were doing videos for Poker Stars TV and Poker News. And someone from Poker Stars TV said, I think we should try Sarah in front of the camera. And I was like, yeah, like I've been working with actors my whole life and thinking like, that looks like the way easier job. Like I want that job. So yeah, I think around 2011, I got in front of the camera. Then came Black Friday. Here we've all been for the last like 3 years trying to live out this dream. And I think I had just learned poker in Palm Springs. Heath was really into poker. He used to date Lacey Jones. I don't know if you know her. She's like
That's the blonde woman, right? The blonde girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
The smoking hot blonde girl. And so he was really into poker when I met him. Like he was always playing online, and so I would like sit there and watch him play.
He was playing online? Would he play on Poker Stars?
Yeah, he played all over, and Full Tilt.
And is it a secret screen name or something like that? What did he play? PLO?
I think it was TX Crazy Horse. I don't even know. But he was just like, when you're fight training, there's like really hard. Obviously, you exert yourself really hard, like for 6 hours of the day. So then like the other times of the day, you need something to just like check out a little bit and chill and enjoy. And yeah, so we played a little bit in Palm Springs, and I played a little bit in Vegas, and I was definitely interested in poker. I had no idea, like no idea. Like now it's like obviously a whole different world, but I still love to play like dirty downtown. I live in downtown Vegas, so like the Golden Nugget and Binions, and this is my hood. I like to get drunk and play poker tournaments in downtown Vegas. I'm trying to reel them in, guys. I'm bringing them into the poker world. I'm telling them it's fun. Have a beer. Let's play.
Well, that was one
It's a
hell of a
different
story,
scene, though.
Sarah. That was a great story. That was a great story.
Yeah, thanks. That's like in a nutshell. That's how I got
Wow.
into poker in a nutshell. Yeah.
Wow.
And like, just so everyone knows, it's like a public service announcement. I am crazy now. Like when I'm going to the airport, I'm like digging through everything in my bags. Like, is there a pocket knife in there? Is there like, it is crazy to me that you can be just a normal, innocent person who makes like just a mistake and it's like, good night. Your life is about to change. Gosh, I remember I was just crying and my mom was like, you're gonna have to like get another job waitressing. I was like, I'm not gonna waitress and make movies. And like, what are you saying? That's just it. No choices. You get stuck in the legal system and it's like, and I told Heath, I was like, no, I'm just gonna take the public defender. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's gonna be fine. Don't ever do that either. Just go into debt to get an attorney. Like, you have to have an attorney. Do not ever take a public defender. I could be a felon. Can you imagine? A felon?
Could you still get a job for Poker News if you were a felon, though?
Yeah, I think so. I think pretty much and it's fun. It's interesting actually because I think most jobs where it's kind of like a specialized skill or where it takes an education or most jobs like that, they don't even ask if you're a felon. And that's what's crappy. Like it's the more menial jobs where you just have like a small application, working at the mall or doing whatever, like minimum wage jobs. Those are the ones where they're going to ask you if you're a felon. And those are the jobs that those people are probably going to need. Like you come out of jail, you need just like an easy, quick job. But I don't know. I really don't know how people do it. I feel like once you have that like black mark on your name, it's going to be hard.
All right, guys. The one thing we can take away is one, check your bag before you go to the airport. Make sure you don't have anything illegal like a knife, a gun, brass knuckles in there. Two, don't get a public defendant because going to debt, you need a good lawyer. Joe Novella on Twitch, he's going to be an attorney soon. He will represent you for a good rate, a friend of the podcast discount, he says, which is good. Although he lives in Malta right now, technically, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, Jonah, but
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in like 3 weeks or something.
You're going to EPT Malta, correct?
Absolutely. I need to meet him. It's always good to have an attorney like in your corner, someone that you're ready to call whenever you need them.
Jonah, make sure you Jonah's still in school technically, so he hasn't graduated yet and he's not an official attorney, but he's a smart kid. He'll be an attorney very soon. So I'm happy to know him when I get arrested for something at some point in time in my life traveling, because I'm sure it'll happen. And
here's another fact you need to know. You have to have people's phone numbers memorized, number one, and you have to have someone who has a home phone, an actual phone, not a cellular telephone, a real phone, like a landline phone. You have to get bailed out, you have to call someone with a landline.
This is like jail
GTO that you get arrested in. Yeah, in the state you get arrested in, you got to know someone with a landline.
So what if you don't? Because I just don't. So I'm not. I only know my parents' home phone number, the landline, and that's all I know.
Yeah, so then you're just gonna have to. So what happens is like I got arrested on Friday. I would have had to stay until my arraignment on Tuesday if you don't get bailed out. So maybe you just have to stay until Tuesday. You don't want to do that.
I'm actually really surprised I haven't been in jail yet. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I feel like most people, pretty much everything is illegal. I feel like most people should have been arrested at some point just on accident. If a police officer wants to arrest you, if you're annoying them or you're talking trash or whatever, and they wanted to arrest you, they could find something. It's pretty easy, I think. Maybe you're just too nice of a guy.
Maybe. Other thing I learned from this is that I need to become a fighter. So what would be like a suggestion? Because, I got an athletic build. I got a little muscle going on here, but now I want to take it to the next level. I want to be a fighter because, as you said, the sluts are, what was it? The sluts are flocking to the fighters.
Yes.
They're dating the blonde bombshells. They got you got Lacey. I mean, it sounds like it's a good life to be a fighter. So what can we do out there? I know a couple of people on YouTube said they're becoming a fighter, although I don't know if they're going to actually do that or not. But how can someone start fighting? What can they do?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an oversaturated, underpaid market at this point, which is part of, my husband's not the biggest fan of the UFC at this point, and neither am I for for this. So all the young guys who are up and coming, who are trying to get up in the game, like you might be making $6,000 to go fight and bleed in a cage and, you know, train for 3 or 6 months of your life and give it all. So I wouldn't recommend it. I'm just saying I wouldn't recommend it. Well, but if you are interested.
Technically, I can still win at poker, so I still make my money from poker, but I just fight as to get the women, you know,
to get the chicks. Yeah. Well, then, you know, it's like a lot about strength and nutrition and diet.
I got that down. I have that down already. Good. Except the strength is building. The diet is getting pretty good. Okay.
Then you gotta find a trainer. You gotta find fighting partners. I don't know. There's all these different elements. I think there's like a boxing element, kickboxing. There's like jujitsu.
Okay.
There's judo. There's all these different parts of your game that you have to, you know, get right.
Does your husband train anyone? Is he a trainer? Does he work with people?
No, but he might. I feel like it might be getting to be time for that.
How old is he right now? I mean, is he
37?
37, man. He's not that much older than me. I'm 30 technically. Might be too old to start. How old are you? I mean, I ask people everyone's age. How old are you?
I don't care. I'm 31.
Oh, you were a young kid, but then you have all this stuff: NYU, film industry, Arrested, Poker News, 2010. Serious. I mean, you've done all this stuff.
Almost 32.
Almost 32, huh?
Getting really serious. I know, and I'm not interested in plastic surgery, so like it's gonna go downhill right quick. Like these are my last few years probably of being able to like be on camera. I gotta enjoy these times.
It's going downhill quick. What do you think is gonna happen at 34? It's just like snap the fingers, and all of a sudden, like the smile's gone, the teeth's gone, the eyes are gone, the hair's gone.
I mean, it happens fast. I even remember like just a few years ago was the first time I like saw under my eyes. I was like, there's wrinkles there. And it was, I swear it happened overnight. I swear I woke up one day and there was wrinkles under my eyes. And now they're starting here. And it just, you know, it's weird. It's just weird to watch yourself get old. I get sore easy now. Like I used to work out 2 hours a day like a crazy person. And now I work out, you know, I still work out, but I get sore way easier. I'm old. I'm getting old. But it's kind of cool to get old too.
I feel like you can kind of train your body. Like I just got done playing basketball for 2.5 hours, so I'm pretty sore all over. But I feel like you train your body. If you just take that beating like 5 times a week, then at some point in time, you know, your body keeps getting more used to it. Obviously, as you get older, though, it just kind of
it's happens, true. So. My husband and I were even talking about it yesterday. Actually, like when we work out, like we sweat a lot. Like it's gross. It's actually gross. And then the people we were with were like, oh, we just like don't really sweat. And we were saying like even it's something you train your body to do. That it's like, okay, your body's like, oh, okay, now we're getting in the zone. We're gonna work out. We're gonna like dump it out, and then. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think it's with anything you train your body. But I mean, I don't know if you're a Louis C.K. fan, but it's one of my favorite things where he just says, you know, when he goes to the doctor now and he's like, oh, it really hurts right here, and they're like, yeah, it's just gonna be like that now. Like it's just, I do think there's a point where like your body is just like, well, you know, I'm just slowly gonna go. And it's weird when you watch, you know, like my grandparents or Heath's grandparents or anything where you're actually watching their bodies like deteriorate. My grandma works out, like she's hardcore, but still things just start to go. The eyes go, the hands start to hurt. Like, you know, that's what we have to look forward to. But their lives are way more chill.
Jesus, we've been getting a lot of gloom and doom on the podcast. We got Jason Moe on here talking about poker's dying. We got you talking about when you get old, guys, your body's going to break down. Your eye, you can't see anymore. You get the wrinkles under your eyes. You get the wrinkles in your forehead. You get the hurting
But
body.
It's awesome being old, too. Like hanging out with a 17-year-old this weekend. I can't even tell you. I'm just like, man, I am so glad to be in my 30s. Like being older, it's like just mentally so much better that I will take the physical breakdown every day of the week. I was in a van. You know, you end up in a lot of vans in poker or going back to the airport or whatever. And I was playing this little game I have on my iPhone. What would you rather? One of my favorite games. And one of the questions was, would you rather be 16 forever or 30 forever? Snap call 30. Like not even thinking about it for a second. I do think. And 16-year-olds have great little bodies. Like, I looked great at 16, but would I be 30? Yes. 30 is awesome. It's like you don't have to stress as much about money. You still stress about it, but I feel like your early 20s are just hard because you're trying to figure out how you're going to make money in the world and how you're going to eat and pay rent. And it's just like, oh, I have to pay rent and health insurance and this. It's crazy. When you're 30, you're like, I got this. It's fine. Chill.
Your audio is like, sounds like you're an alien coming from outer space of Independence Day 2. Real quick. Let's see. Talk one more time.
Hello?
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit. Maybe try unplugging it and plugging it back in.
Okay.
You guys hear that? It's like an alien sounding. It's like, yeah, the sound's going off. Yeah, it's like, hello, my name is Sarah Grant from PokerNews.com. Nope, now we can't hear you. Go to at the top of the page on the Google Hangout. There's a settings button. You can go to settings and choose your audio in that thing. Release me. Yeah, it does sound like the alien from Independence Day, guys. You can hear her getting older, Keanu says. Yeah, at the top of the page and then the settings, you should see a drop-down box. You can choose your audio, or you can go out of the chat and then come back in the chat, and then that should fix it too. Guys, we're live. This sometimes happens when we're live. Let's give some shout-outs while Sarah tries to figure this out. I get frustrated easily when she tries this. Oh, she's stitching out. Okay. Oh, okay. What'd she do? Okay. You got to try it. Can you still hear me? Give me a thumbs up for yes or a thumbs down for no. No. Can you hear me? No? Nope. Okay. We fucked it up. We ruined it. Let me go on Twitter. And talk with her. Let's get some shout outs. What's up, Luke? Luke of Loxley. What up, puppy? Done deal beats record on all right. Try going out and coming back in. Sarah dead. Sarah might be dead, guys. Still not working. Yes, sir. Jacob Stafford. What up, Jake? Is Sarah dead? She might be dead. Bal Balky. That's a weird fucking question. What's up, Bal Balky? Sheriff says, still on that basketball hype. Joey looking lean and mean. Yes, sir. I just got done playing basketball for 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. We're still looking mean. We're trying. I got my personal trainer here at 4 o'clock in about an hour and 15 minutes. So I don't know what I did. I can't hear anything now. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. All right. We're going to try to get this figured out here. What up, Derek? Always asking some great questions. Catalina George, what up, Cataline? Give me the apples. This will train me for kickboxing. I'm in. Let's do it. Andra, have we discussed the BGG yet? No, sir. Slay Show, sick new mic. What up, Slay Show? What up, Poppy? Seriously serious. What up? What up, Metalhead, Puppy? Keep the veins looking jacked, bud. Thank you, gracias, bud. Gracias, Puppy. Keep the lifting and healthy eating going. Yes, sir. My coach got me running 2 days. Nope. Sarah, can we hear you?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear you.
We can hear you. You sound great.
Okay, also, something might be wrong because, with my headphones, because when I used to do Pretty Broad, this podcast with Linda Martin and Kirsty Arnett, that would happen. I would turn into an alien like 1 out of 4 episodes. Maybe it's these headphones.
It might be. Yeah, it sounded definitely like you're in Will Smith, when he's talking to the alien when the president's like wrapped around. He's like, it kind of sounded like that. So
yes, I know exactly. And yeah, clearly I have a problem. My husband was gonna let me use his like gamer headphones, but I felt like that was too like that would be playing a false game. Like I don't belong in these gamer headphones. I haven't earned the gamer headphone yet.
What is that? What games does he play? Do you guys play games together? Do you guys feel like NBA 2K?
Absolutely not. I do not understand how to play video games. I do not like it. I find it very boring, but also sometimes like the third-person shooter, first-person shooter, is that what it's called?
First-person shooter, yeah.
It makes me feel sick. Like actually I feel queasy when I play it. Isn't that weird? Like I get sick from feeling like I'm like going everywhere. I think something might be wrong with me, but I read this thing that was talking about how a lot of women have the places in their brain that are like spatially related just are not like don't connect with that type of game. And I think I'm that person.
Okay.
I don't know. Like,
this up? Is that a real thing?
No, I read an article and it was talking about how men and women in general, and obviously this is a generalization, but that they have, different parts of their brain that are activated different, and that how women perceive space, the space around them, is just different, and that playing those games that it's not most beneficial for their skill sets. That's me. I can't do it, but I wish I could. I feel like he'll be like playing a game and I'll be like watching something that he doesn't want to watch, and then I'm like, wow, we're really like disconnected human beings here. But you gotta have your thing to check out with, and Heath doesn't want to watch Real Housewives. So
is that what you watch? Real Housewives of which one?
Listen, I'm embarrassed, okay, about that, and I want to blame Lynn and Christy. I was not ever gonna be that girl, but I pretty much like them all. Real Housewives is amazing. Andy Cohen is a genius. It's a genius franchise, in my opinion.
Do you live? I know Andy Cohen. He's the one that created that, right? He's the guy one that founded the idea of the show on Bravo.
And Watch What Happens Live, he made later, which is like what I want to do with my life and kind of what you seem to be wanting to do with your life too. Take the people that people are interested in, give them some drinks, play some fun games with them, get to know like the dish, the scoop behind the,
So that was your idea behind what you did for the World Series this summer kind of thing, where you got the women on there, you got them drinking, they had fun, you got the Twitch chat going, you guys are talking about all these sexual questions. I mean, Jen told me a couple of the sexual questions you were asking. I was like, oh, this sounds like my kind of podcast right here.
Yeah, it was juicy. I'm not going to lie. Like pretty much every morning I would wake up after that show and be like, wow, that's going to haunt me someday. Like that was not smart to put out into the universe. That's something I'm still figuring out is the, line between being honest and real and being like, maybe could have used a little more tact or like kept a little more back, just a little. That's
so where are you on this? I'm usually about the being on. I'm usually a little over honest. I talk about my life far too much, and I talk about the things I do a little bit far too much. Shout out to the stalkers. I know the stalkers are watching right now. They sometimes get upset at things I say about them, and sometimes So
you have
how? Well, of course you have stalkers. You get sometimes you get women, you get ex-girlfriends, you get girls in the poker world that sometimes watch. They might say things to you like, when you see them or on Twitter or on Facebook and stuff, and then you mention another girl or another woman on the podcast or on the streams, and then they're like, motherfucker here, they're like chatting away. They send you these messages. They're upset at you, and then you realize like maybe I shouldn't talk about these things because the people get mad. I mean, with you, obviously you're married now, so you don't got to worry about that. But what do you think you say that might come back to haunt you? Or
a whole other series of things, because now that I'm married, it's like lots of pieces of my life story also involve someone else. And so sometimes it's like, oh, I'm like spreading the dish on myself, but maybe I accidentally should not throw everyone else under the bus too. But it's hard. And I'm sure you've got this too. Like, when you're doing a show and you're trying to get people to open up and share and be a little more wild, you can't just, and Andy Cohen does it somehow. I don't know how, but you can't do it without sharing yourself too. It's like when you put that energy out there, like, okay, I'm gonna give you like a little taste, then they're like, oh yeah, and they get excited and they want to share, and then all of a sudden, like conversations, like everybody's just like telling their dirtiest secrets ever, which I love. But then sometimes I would wake up in the morning afterwards and be like, oh gosh, I'm sure I probably offended a lot of people. I probably, if I ever like have children someday, they're probably going to be like, wow, my mom has like serious psychological problems. Like, I don't know. It's a tough line. It's a tough line.
About that. I mean, you figure you put out so much content that it's going to be very hard for your kids to find. Like there's literally hundreds of hours of probably you online or me on, like, it's going to be hard for them to narrow it down and be like, oh, mommy used to go do this, porno set when she was 60. I mean, it'd be hard to find. I don't know if that's what you did, but
that's exactly what I'm hoping. And especially with the Twitch, like our stream was, 3, 4, 5 hours long sometimes. So I'm just thinking, you really have to dig. Even so, sometimes one of my favorite things to do on the show would be to ask the girls or the guys, we had guys on too, but to ask them who they most want to bang in poker.
What a great fucking question.
Best question ever.
Hold on a second. Let me write this down. Who do you want to bang in poker? What's the answer? What was like, who's the overall, like, what, do you have an answer? Can you give an answer? It seems,
I have given an answer.
What's the answer?
since I'm sitting across from my husband, I feel like I probably shouldn't say it at this moment. But I gave an answer, and it's because you have to, or else the other people won't. You know what I mean? I had a stock answer. I gave it every time, which probably makes me seem like a stalker, but I'd be like, okay, this is who I would do if I had to. Now you go. And you have to have that go.
What was the answer you gave? The stock answer.
I would say Ole. I'd be like,
Ole
okay,
Shemian.
Ole. Yeah, which is like easy. It's like he barely speaks English. It's like, you know, he's handsome, he's young, he's got money. Great. Okay. Ole, now you go. And I was surprised. I'll be honest with you. Like I thought, okay, so anyways, I thought, okay, once other poker players find out that this is going on, and like I had shows where I had 5 or 6 girls, like big girls in poker on them, and I was thinking, once word gets out, everyone's gonna like pull out these like, clips and it'll be like, okay, these are who all these. I was just waiting for it. I just thought there's gonna be a mixtape eventually that's just like from the show of who everyone wants to do in poker. It's the best things. But you're right. Once you like bury it, it's like deep in a 5-hour show. No one's ever gonna find it again. It's gone. But I will tell you, I was surprised. Like there was not a consensus at all. I don't think one girl ever said the same girl or the same guy as someone else. It was crazy. It was really, and people, I mean, there's just no accounting for taste. Everyone is into something else.
I'm trying to think about I'm trying to think about my answer for this question. I'm going to start asking everyone this question. This is a great fucking question right there.
Yeah, I want to hear
it.
Who
do you most want to bang in poker? If you could, like, is it just like, who do you, I guess if you're married, if you weren't married or something like that. Miss Finland, she's not even a poker. Miss Finland can't count AT. She doesn't play poker. She's like on the shark cage. Like played poker one time. She's not a poker player.
I'm going to be honest with you though, too, with her. And like, I probably shouldn't say this, but she photographs so well, but
bang, bang.
In person, she is not as hot as she appears. You know, there's some people that are like the opposite. I was thinking, oh, she's going to be, so she's short for one thing. And like her skin's not as good as I thought, but a lot of makeup like can cover that up. But man, when I see her like in photos and like on the TV and stuff, I'm like, she looks so good. Some people just look so good on camera. And like, who's someone who's like really hot that you wouldn't know, that you would never guess?
That's a female poker player?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because it goes the other way too, where you see someone and they just don't look that good in photos or on.
There's one person I think looks good in real life that I never thought she looked good until I met her in real life, which was Lizzie Harrison.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's same because she has like kind of a stronger jaw and like high cheekbones and stuff. So sometimes in pictures she looks really like not as good as she looks in real life. You're right.
What I mean, I never even thought it. And then when I met her and we all went to, me and her and TT, Steve McLaughlin, I know you know Steve, and Steve's fiance, Jillian, right? We all went to Disney World, and I was like, I didn't even know she was like, that she like looked the way she looks. She's very attractive.
Naturally, she's just really naturally pretty, which I think that makes a really big difference. Okay, so who would be yours?
I was thinking I'm not sure. I don't know who it is. Like I'm
you're afraid to get like put into a box and then later you'll be like, oh, it should have been this. What was I thinking?
You know, I don't know who it would be. Like I'm attracted to people that play poker if they're women, if they're good at poker. And you know, no shots at women, but like in the online world, there's not many really good women online poker players that I know of. So I mean, what women that are involved with poker are attractive like that I would want to, that I haven't already, I suppose, is the question. That would be the more question. You know, I feel like there might be one or two, but I may have already dated them in some capacity though. So, you know, that would be
because it's a small pool. The pool of women in poker is really small.
Yeah.
So if that's the precursor, you know, if that's gonna set them aside, man, you're in trouble. You're fishing out of a really small pond.
Yeah,
it's a great pond.
I have a theory that you shouldn't, if you're a guy, you should, if you're me personally, I should try to not hook up with women in poker or get with women in poker because like, it's just bad for business. It would be bad for business.
100%. That's always been my theory. Don't ever date people where you work. Don't date people where you work. And it also gives you like an outlet, you know? For me, it's like with Heath, it's nice because people know him and I can take him out and we can have a good time together, but it doesn't have to be, he doesn't care about all my drama and all the stuff going on with poker and what's happening. So I can like talk to him about it, blah, 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 blah. This is what's going on and get it off my chest and hear what's going on in his life. And that takes me out of my drama and my world. Also, then I can talk trash about people and I can say it to Heath and he's never going to say anything to anyone. You got to be able to vent sometimes.
That's
you know
true.
who surprised me the most on the Twitch show? I feel like there's a bad, I think Tiffany Michelle has a bad reputation, sort of, or maybe it's just with the people I know, but lots of people were like, oh, she just thinks she's the shit and she's just not as pretty as she
I've
thinks
heard
she
that
is.
before.
And yeah, I've just heard lots of not nice things about her. And man, she came on the show and I thought she was just awesome. She was open, she was funny, she was witty, she was I did tell her she looked like, kind of like a tranny, but I meant it in a really nice way because I actually really like a strong jaw. I love a strong jaw and like I love kind of like a masculine woman face, like a chiseled face. And she's really skinny, kind of has like a boyish body. Anyways, I thought she was really pretty, way prettier than I thought she was going to be, and just cool as shit. And then you think about it, she's Maria Ho's best friend. Maria Ho's like the sweetest, nicest person probably in the world. And it makes sense. Someone who's super nice and smart and cool isn't going to choose someone who's like biatch for their best friend. She was a surprise to me. She was a big surprise. Who wasn't a surprise, who I always thought was going to be awesome and ended up being awesome? Chi-Town Biatch. Okay, that's her Twitter. Her real name is Michelle. No. Come on, Sarah. Oh, God. Oh, and I hear a little Chicago accent. Melissa Castello. She's awesome. She's just like funny and crazy and like little and badass.
Who wasn't awesome? Was there anyone on there that wasn't awesome?
Tatiana.
Oh, okay. So people on YouTube are ask her about Tatiana, a Tatiana incident. So I met Tatiana when I did the 25K PLO stream this summer, and I talked to her briefly. She seemed pretty cool, but apparently, what happened? What went down here?
She's super nice. And actually, on a personal level, I like her. Like, we see each other at all the tournaments, and I think she's super nice. I love McLean. Like, I love her now husband, I guess. But it was weird because I've known her since I very first came into poker, and she's always been very heavy with putting on the sort of lesbianist sexual innuendos, and she's just always been very sexual and kind of like open and fun. And so I was like getting her on the show and everyone was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy, like this is gonna be so awesome and so wild. And it was like such a dud. Like she was just such a dud. And I kind of called her out because I was just like, dude, you're really being boring. And like, that is not what this show's about. And if you don't want to participate, like, you can just go do regular poker interviews instead. And then Gentili came on at the same time. Like, and Gentili, of course, is just like knows exactly how to lay it on and exactly like how, you know, fun and coy. Gentili brought her own bottle of wine to the show. I was like, girl, you are cooler even than I thought. And then it made Tatiana look even more lame. Like, it totally laid it on. And, you know, I get it. I think, and I had this problem actually when I did the Pretty Broad podcast with Christy Arnett and Lynn Gilmartin. Lynn certain was just like, I don't want to talk about XYZ. I'm trying to like build my image and build, you know, my reputation and who I am. And like, this is just not stuff I want to talk about, which is totally fair. I was actually really mean to her at the time because we were making like a joke twerk video. And she was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, it's a joke. It's a twerk video. Like, it's a joke. And Lynn was like, that's not what I want to be associated with. And so we basically, Lynn left the podcast, and I think it was sort of the same thing with Tatiana.
Wait, what? She left the podcast? Wait, what? It was it that she just left?
I mean, like, well, Lynn and Christy and I like did a show every week, so Christy and I just continued the podcast on without her because we were like, well, this is what people want to hear about. These are the shows that do well. If you don't want to talk about sex and you don't want to talk about like funny, if all you want to talk about is like green smoothies and, you know, rainbows and butterflies, then like the show is not interesting. We might as well all just be on a phone call with each other. Like, we have to talk about things that are controversial and things that are crazy. And, you know, it's the same thing like with Tatiana. It's like, I don't want to, like, what was your best interview this summer? Like, I don't know. Well, just, I don't want to talk about that. So if that's what you're planning on talking about, get out of here.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Honestly, when I'm telling you, when Jen said this to me, I was like, I don't think it can't be true, but it makes sense. I know. I now understand what Jen was talking about when she told me about you. It makes.
And it's our job. Like we're, I don't, you may or may not make money from this. I wasn't making money from my Twitch stream, but the idea is like, our job is to try to entertain people. And so if you, otherwise you're just masturbating, like if you're just going to sit up there and be like, oh, I want to talk about like how good I am and how everything I do is perfect, then like nobody wants to watch you do that. Like everybody wants to know what's wrong with you and everyone wants to know like your deep, dark secrets. So I think like maybe Tatiana's getting married and she's actually like getting work. So maybe she's just trying to like keep that going, whatever, keep that ball rolling. And I'm like, that's cool, but don't do it on my show.
So are you guys still doing a show, or are you guys still Lingo Martin's the Australian redhead, correct?
Yes. So she's the anchor of the World Poker Tour now and Alpha 8. So clearly whatever she was doing was working. And it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Like, do you want to hire Auntie Chardonnay, or do you want to hire like the girl who you only see do like all the right things? Like, yeah, okay, maybe that's who you want to hire. But whatever show they do hire me for is going to be really fun and awesome. I hope someday it's like a Watch What Happens Live.
I guess.
But yeah, Lynn won't have to do that.
It's like, how PC do you want to be? It's I got actually, okay. So I got a great comparison. So it's kind of like you see people on Twitch that are having success, and it's like, the people that have success, they sometimes they say all the right things. They suck the right, they're sucking the right dicks, or they saying the right things, or like they're, it's not like they don't really not being very real. But those are the people that sort of have success. Is that the people who are, what's up, Steve? Hello, hey, how are you doing today? You know what I mean? And like you're befriending Steve because Steve is like in a position here, and like, the people who are sometimes a little bit more, as you put it, real, or as you're honest about what you actually think. Sometimes that like the people, I don't know, they don't like that. They don't. I don't know.
You're not playing the game. That's the problem.
You're not playing the game.
Like,
exactly. You're not playing the game. Like the game is, suck. You got to suck people's dicks out there. Like that's what you got to do behind the scenes, and like behind the scenes, you're like your actual self, but in the light, when you're out there, like you gotta pander to motherfuckers. And that's the people that sort of sometimes have success, is the people who do things like that. So
I always see it like, when you're very first dating somebody, or even when you're very first becoming friends with somebody, and you think they're like the best thing ever. There's just, you fill in the blanks with whatever you want. Like, oh, he must be like this, or she must be like this, and everything's perfect. And then after you've been with someone for a couple years, and they farted in front of you, and they've like done things that piss you off or whatever, like you realize, oh yeah, it's just a real person, and they have like plenty of issues and then it's about balancing, like, is the good as does it outweigh the bad? And I think it's the same thing for a lot of people with their careers. They're just like creating that first like 2 months, for you, like, oh, let me just show you what I think you want to see. Mm-hmm. And then you never get the rest. And that's fine. It clearly works. But to me, it's like, it's too hard for me. It's too hard for me to pretend to be something that I'm not. And I think about it sometimes. I really do. Because
for sure,
I've got some, I got some acting skills. Probably, I think I could probably fake it, but it's I don't want to have to put on a show all the time. Like it just seems like a lot of work.
I think about this all the time. I'm like, should I be nice, or like, I mean, I can be fake. I know what you're supposed to be doing. And it's not even Twitch. I mean, even in general in poker, but this is any industry. There are always these people who are, who tell you what you want to hear. They talk to all the right people. They don't talk to anyone that can't further their own career. Whether this is even there, you find people that are in the poker world in general that are like this. Like they're very, as you said, the 2 month. You meet their representative, and their representative just is in the spotlight. They're the person you see all the time, and you don't actually see the person behind closed doors, whoever they are. And I feel like you might get disconnected with who you really are at that point in time. I mean, I don't think you become this like friendly person. I think deep down inside, you're like, all right, I know like this is fake. I know I'm just saying this stuff because this is what I'm supposed to say. Or this is what people want to hear. This is like the business PR, like, this is the response sort of thing. And I don't know, man, I tried, like I can do it for like 30 minutes and I just can't do it anymore. I can't. Yeah.
I'm the same way. And the way that I actually develop relationships with people, or the even like bosses, or, higher ups in companies and stuff, to me, it's like, I could be fake whoever, but I have a few relationships with some, people in higher positions that come from having really deep personal conversations with them. I know about their like problems with their wives, or I know about their, you know, problems with their kids, or they know about my weird stuff. And to me, it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to like, I don't want to shake your hand. Oh, nice to see you and great to whatever again. Like, I want to know, hey, dude, I know your dog was like dying. Is everything okay? Did he die? What happened? Are you crying? It's just more fulfilling. It's scarier, I think, in some ways, but it's just more fulfilling to be like that. But then sometimes when you see all these people with the success, you're like, God, I'm an idiot. What am I doing?
No, I definitely I think I'm the same way actually when I talk to people that I have on like the podcast. Like it's I guess the relationships do become a little bit more real, more personal. And
Yeah.
you know, it's not, I don't know, like you're not always looking out for someone that can do something for you. Like I don't know, man, a lot of people like they don't want to be friends with you unless you can do something for them, unless like you help further their own career or they whatever. And I sort of like being friends. Like I have friends with people from my Twitch stream. Like I chat with them like Bruno, you know what I mean? Like I chat with these guys on Facebook, and like these guys are like, they might even be professional poker players. They're just aspiring to maybe make it one day, but they have regular lives, and I just enjoy talking with them. But that's not like GTO for, you know, becoming some people are so obsessed with becoming as big as they can possibly be. Like, how can I become the most popular, whatever it is in the world? And that's never been my like goal in anything. And I think, I don't know.
People are so interesting. Like, there's so much to get. People's stories are amazing. I can't even believe it's like, you know, like everybody's life is a movie. Everybody's life. Everybody has crazy family drama. Like everybody has all this weird interpersonal stuff going on. And like, man, when you get into that stuff, oh, it's just so much. It's meaty. It's good. It's life.
I agree. I was telling my friend that the other day, because I get a lot of Facebook messages from people that are fans of the podcast, or, you know, they're just like, they're fans or whatever. And I'm like, I always just end up talking to these people for like 2 hours. And, you know, I know that's not the best use of time because you get a lot of messages, but like they're interesting. Like they're cool people. They do some cool shit in their own lives. But like, you know, the GTO says, you know, you should focus more of your time on people it's like, it's funny. So like you develop these relationships with people who can get you a career. Like, oh, you should spend your time talking to that person instead of talking to this person, because this person, you know, where are you going to go? This person, you'll be working here. You'll be doing something like that or something like that. So I'm sure you encounter these same type of things around the
Absolutely. And I am probably the worst at the political game in general. Even just having I had Jason Moe, I did an interview with him in Barcelona, just talking about, you know, he was really angry because he felt like someone took his chips, and he's like, there's no security. And I did an interview with him about it. And then, of course, I was in big trouble from all these people, you know, sort of the higher ups, like basically felt like I was pandering to, you know, this players' dramas and all these things. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, if I was smart, I would have just not done that interview. Like, that's just a smart one to probably avoid. But to me, it's just like, it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I'd be interested to hear. Like, you think you got chips stolen and you feel like things are going bad here? Like, that's interesting to me. Okay, well, let's do another interview about, you know, have you been enjoying Barcelona? Like, to me, it's like, I'm looking for stories and things that are interesting, but that definitely is not always the correct political maneuver for me to be making.
I wouldn't know that. I mean, it's funny because I have JMO on. He just like bashes poker stars, you know, for an hour or something like that. I think it's normal. Like, that's like what I do sort of around here sometimes. But I didn't think about it from your perspective. Obviously, you know, you're working for Poker News, or you're doing some stuff for PokerStars.tv. Not, hey, like, let's not have him on here talking shit about EPT Barcelona, the EPTs in general.
Yeah. And I think I knew that. I even knew it, but it's like, you know, I've had so many awesome interviews where I just don't even have to say anything, where I just hold the mic and let people just rant. And to me, those are the ones that the fans love the most. You know, the people go crazy for that stuff. So I was like, oh, this is going to be like that. And then, yeah, I should probably be a little bit smarter about it.
Well, whenever I have people go like on moments like that, I sometimes I like the moments. Obviously, they make for good sound bites, but at the same time, I know sometimes people get into trouble by things they say on my podcast. They might say the wrong thing. They get their friends in trouble. They might cause some drama. They might send some shots. So sometimes before I used to like let them talk, but now I try to rein some, like the people I like the most, who I'm friends with, I like stop them from getting too in depth into something, but people I don't necessarily know, sometimes I'll just let them keep talking, and then they sometimes say some things, and then like they say some things. It's very fun.
And it's easy in poker to get yourself in trouble, for sure.
Very easy, yeah.
I definitely think there's a lot of it's a small sort of community where I think a lot of people feel exactly the same way, say politically or spiritually or whatever. And so sometimes I definitely think it's easy to get yourself in trouble if you find yourself outside of the box on any particular issue. And maybe it is because I really, I genuinely think poker players are just brilliant people. They're just really brilliant. And so if you want to, I see sometimes just on Twitter, someone says like just slightly the wrong, like puts like just maybe the wrong wording exactly. And they're like, okay, 20 things later, they're like, okay, maybe I should have just used a different word or whatever. Cause they will just nail you to the cross. Like whatever you say. I honestly, like, I stay off Twitter for the most part. I don't use Facebook anymore. To me, it was like, okay, if you guys want to have your battles out there, go ahead. But I better stop. I better stop having some of these battles.
All right, I'm gonna give you one question. I gotta go to bed. I drank like 10 things of water and electrolytes playing basketball today. I'm gonna give you one topic. I'm gonna go to my bathroom here. I don't want to use the pee bottle on the stream because that's how we normally would go pee technically when we're playing poker. All right, awesome. Let me. I didn't even
finish the question and I have to pee too. Can I?
Yeah. Do you want to? You give a question. You go pee. You come back. I'll switch it around and then we'll switch it around. Okay.
Okay. You can go first though.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you the question.
Go to the bathroom first.
Wait. I'm gonna ask you the question first.
Yeah. You go to the bathroom first.
I'm gonna give you the question first.
Okay.
Well, my boy Metalhead had a question. He said.
Is this the dad of Baby Metalhead?
What'd you say?
Is this the dad of Baby Metalhead?
That's the dad of Baby Metalhead, the wife of Mrs. Metalhead. Correct. Shout out to them. They're fun. They're cool. I've seen photos of them. They're very fun. Shout out to Metalhead, man. I love Metalhead, man. Metalhead's a nice Canadian young gentleman. He said,
I like Baby Metalhead too.
I got it. He shows a lot of love. I got to ask his question. God damn, what the fuck is the question? He basically said, who are like some of your five favorite people to do interviews with that aren't end bosses? So like the more guys that are lesser known, who are just fun and who are the most real and who don't put on a show. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go Metalhead. Okay. Nice question, Poppy. All right. I can still hear the answer though. Okay.
Okay. You better be listening. Listen close in.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, so I would say one of the interesting things that has evolved as poker has changed in the last 5 or 6 years is one of the hardest things is that a lot of the players that used to do interviews really easily and were down to just chat and have an interview are now just way less likely. So it's definitely become more difficult to get interviews and to get good interviews. So I definitely appreciate people who are more open for sure. And obviously Daniel Negreanu, everyone knows, he already said the end boss. But I will say he is always open, always friendly, and always on point. And it's not even a show. He's always like that. Always. When he's partying, when he's hanging out, he's just always down in game. So I do have to give him a shout out. I don't think I could answer that question without throwing that to him. And honestly, like a lot of the stars pros are, by virtue of their contracts and stuff, just always going to talk and always be friendly. Like Jason Mercier is one of my favorite players by far. And he's not... His interviews, I like interviewing Jason because he's kind of sarcastic and a little bit shitty. Like he'll make fun of me a lot when I'm interviewing him. And I like that. I like a little, to me, it plays well on camera because a lot of players get nervous, and Jason does not get nervous, but he does get snarky. And I like it. I like a little snark. Now, this is a really hard question though. Like some of the guys who are not as bossy who give really good interviews. Oh, it totally makes me want to just go look back through some and be like, oh yeah, this guy's amazing. Because there are some people where every time I interview them, I'm just like, whoa, I'm so into what you're saying. I'm trying to even think back through the summer this year. There's so many people where I want to have them on the show. You know who's someone who's awesome, who sucks on camera? Is Brandon Shack Harris. I've had hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long conversations with him that are awesome and he's so great. And then you try to put a camera in front of his face and he just can't do it. And that happens to a lot of players.
Has Brandon ever texted you a photo of a black man naked?
No.
You gotta ask him about that. You gotta ask him about that. He enjoys texting his friends pictures of I've got some weird fucking photos from the kid. Let's say he texts you a picture of a black guy with naked.
Mm-hmm. Where did he get that? Just from the internet?
I asked him that too. What the fuck do you turn? I don't know. Apparently it pumps you up. It gets you excited when it gets you excited.
Okay, I'm going to pee while I think about this for a second. I will say in Barcelona, sorry, I'm moving the chair. Someone that I thought was really interesting that I didn't expect to be, and who we had a really nice conversation before and after the interview was Ben Tollerine.
Oh, Ben, I just had Ben on a podcast a couple months ago. It was definitely one of the best one we've had.
I watched it. It was great. And that's the thing that blows my mind sometimes is, so I always start a conversation before the interview starts because people are nervous and it's awkward while they're setting up the camera and stuff. So we'll start. And then afterwards, often, our conversations will linger for a little while. And I'm always surprised you have like 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes in a break, how you can like really make a connection easily in 10 minutes. And Ben was one of those people. Like we talked about some pretty intense stuff, like right quick, but it came from that being honest. Like I said something kind of maybe slightly personal about myself that maybe you shouldn't be just saying right away. And then he picked up on it and then he ran with it and he told me stuff. And I was like, and he's good at talking about poker. And that's a different thing, but I'm going to pee and then I'll come right back. And
okay.
I want to ask you a question, but I actually want to hear the answer and I won't be able to hear it. So
okay.
Maybe you can just talk to her.
Go ahead. I'll get some shout outs while you're gone. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's do some shout outs real quick while Sarah uses the bathroom. Who we got on YouTube? Who we got on Twitch? We got some great comments today, guys. Thank you very much. Obviously, I can't get to all the questions, but I very much appreciate all the support, all the people watching out there on Twitch, watching on YouTube. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for contributing to the episode and to the podcast. If you're not watching, if you don't know, we have these on iTunes. You can search Poker Live, search Join Room 1. You can find all the episodes on iTunes. And I never actually tell people that, but they seem to get a lot of views on iTunes too. So who we got? Boytel, what's up, Boytel, puppy? Delete TV, Riku, what up, Riku? Will Asha fan on Twitch, Fizzler, Rounder for Life, the Sheriff, what up, Sheriff? My boy Nathan Samuel, what's up, Nathan? What up, Poppy? My boy Daniel, GG, see you later. What's up, GG? My boy Cesar Contreras, what's up, Poppy? What up, what up? Team Ivy, what up, what up? Catalin George, ask her if she has wine in her cup. Probably not. Epicurus, my boy Epi. Epi's been there since day one. What up, Ep? Jonah Louie, what up, Jonah? Much love, Joey. Great guest. Thank you, Jonah. Much love, Jonah. Much love. Derek Castillo, ask if Heath can make a cameo. We'll see. Marco, Janik, Foss. All right, Sarah's back. What up, Sarah? Welcome back.
So this is something that you just regularly do. You just go out there and say, hey, what's up, guys? Like, I think that's something I was not doing on my Twitch show that probably I should have been doing.
I mean, I get a lot of people that they've like my boy Remzo, for instance, on Twitch, or Foss or Epicurus. Like these guys have been here for, I sort of got at least 150 actual official podcasts or streams that I've done with different things. Like they're here. I don't know what the fuck these guys do with themselves, but they're here all the time, supporting, putting comments in the chat, asking great questions. So, I like to give them shout outs, man. Like I said, I talk to some of these guys offline too. So when they come here and they support, I especially like to show them some love. So
do you ever though can't you make people moderators?
Yeah, of course. I mean, on Twitch, I got a bunch of moderators. I got my boy Jonah. He's a moderator. Rems is a moderator. On YouTube, they just started it where you can make moderators. So I haven't really got that set up too much. I'm fast on the trigger. I mean, I've 24 tables for years, so it's not hard for me to one table or one chat room and I time someone out. I'm quick to lay these guys out pretty quick. So,
man, yeah. See, I'm not. Even right now, I was like, okay, I should go look and try to find the best people that I interview. And then I'm like, it's so hard for me to not just like stare at you while we're talking.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the problem with my moderating skills too.
Yeah, I think over time you sort of, I mean, I'm really good at, I guess I think it goes back to 24 tabling. So like I 24 table PLO and like I for hours. So to do this and talk and still pay attention and to take in what you're saying, but also look at the chat, see the names, it's still pretty easy to do. Like I think it's easy, but it's sort of a fine balance. With some guests, you want to let them talk. with some guests, you might not want to show the chat as much love certain times, and then you want to just focus on the guest. And with certain guests, like, you know, the more, I don't know, the more not fun guests, like they're fun, but they're more fun in like a serious type of way. Whereas, you know, some people are more fun in like a fun, have fun with them type of way. So then you can, you know, you can sort of treat those conversations differently.
Okay. I do have a question for you.
Let's hear it.
How did this whole thing start?
How did the podcast start?
Yes.
Okay.
You were just like, I want to do this.
So this is what happened. So it was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. I was in the United States. I was starting to date a girl, and I was at home. I was really bored because, you know, like, you're dating someone, it's boring. And I live in a place where it's actually wintertime, and wintertime you can't do much. And for Pot Live in Omaha, which is the game I play, there was no content being produced for Pot Live in Omaha. No videos, no entertaining, no podcasts. Like, all the players in PLO are very unknown. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing a podcast. So I started taking hand histories from the high stakes hand histories and like talking about them in like a fun way, an entertaining way. I knew all the players, so it really helps. I played with all of them over the years. I'm friends with them. Some of them I fucking hate. I hope they die. So it helps to add some, like, you know, banter to the conversations about the hands. And then I accidentally had a guest on. He was like, my friend Kyle Montgomery, Claremont. He plays on Stars, and he was like, oh, come on, we'll talk about it. So he came on, and the first one was just like janky. You know, my girlfriend's like walking by at the time. Girlfriend at the time, you know, we had to shower her, but she's walking by. We're talking to him. We're talking to Claremont during it. Like, you know, it wasn't anything too official. And then people really liked it. So then I just started having more guests on. I had a lot of PLO guests on, but I realized that people got scared by the name Pot Live in Omaha because that was a high stakes PLO podcast. So I'm like, well, you know, if I want to get people outside to pay attention to start learning about PLO, I need to change the name. So I started calling it the Poker Life. And then I'm like, well, I started having just online guys on. But at some point, you need to branch out and have the tournament guys on. You need to have the live player guys on because that's their own audience. Like, tournament players don't want to tune in to all the online guys. So then I started having tournament people on. Then I met some people, you know, at the Poker Awards.
You know, you got presenters on.
Well, yeah, then you get presenters on. Like, I meet a lot of people when I was in LA at the Poker Wars. I met, you know, Daniel Negreanu out there. Like, it's Jen Shahad. She's really my wing woman. Honestly, she's introduced me to like so many people and sort of like hooked me up on these like poker dates with like different people and stuff like that. So I got to show her a lot of love. But yeah, I love Jen. Jen would be the answer. Probably the question: what women would I like to? What was it? One woman bang in poker? Jen. Yeah, Jen. Yeah. We'll pick Jen. We'll put Jen on the list, even though I don't think
you're not alone in that. You're definitely
not alone actually going to, but yeah, you could be. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to finish some things. I thought of some when I was going to the bathroom who are guys that I love, and that are always on point and that are always like fun and good, that are maybe not like the most famous guys. Griffin Benger is like one of my absolute faves. I know he's got lots of like drama, whatever, in his life and world. I don't give an F. He is so fun. He's so silly. He's so open, so down. And pretty much all the people from that crew, kind of, I love too. Dipthrong, Chirp Herm, he's like one of my absolute faves. He's always down to get real and talk about everything. I was on his podcast once too. He's been on my podcast. That I just like that crew of guys. I think they're fun, but they're also like super real. And Jason Kuhn is always down. For sure. He's always fun. He's always got a really good positive vibe. Even when he's like super deep in a tournament, he's always into just like, will you do jumping jacks? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Like, he's really cool. And who's the other one I was gonna say? On a different plane. Oh, I did a video with Ben Wilanowski in April. Yeah. Where he was talking about, you know, his battle with manic depression or clinical depression. And it was one of the hardest, best videos I ever did or worked on. And he was so honest and so real and so open. And same thing, he's always down to, you know, he can talk about poker, he can talk about his personal life, his struggles, whatever. He's always down. Like Griffin Benger's always fun and can talk about whatever. Ben's like on like a little bit of a lower energy field, but just as good, just in a different way. And that's a really good question to Metalhead and Baby Metalhead and Mrs. to the Metalheads.
I think the alien's coming back here. Talk again. Let's hear it.
No.
Oh my God. No. Holy shit. Yeah. Unplug it fast. Plug it back in. Come back out. Come back in.
Okay. Great. See you later.
More shout outs. Boytel. What up, Boytel? What the hell are you talking about on YouTube here, Poppy? Boytel leaving some interesting comments. Thank you, Boytel. Let's see what Boytel's saying. By a higher power, you are needed in poker. Epicurus of the Claremont podcast was really good. Thank you, Epicurus, Poppy. David Barrick says, ask her about the David Baker interview at WSOP. That was interesting. I will. Marco, Foss, James Garcia. What up, James Garcia, Poppy? She's back. Welcome back.
No alien?
No alien, correct. Okay, I actually want to follow up on something you said. One, Jason Kuhn, I had him on my podcast. We did it together in LA in person. That was probably the best one I've had that I've done. Maybe him or Sauce or Ben86 was probably the three best ones. But okay, so this happened with me with Griffin.
Wait, him, Ben86, and who else? Ben
Tallerine and Ben Sulsky.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, but this happened with Griffin. So I'm going to ask you what. So this happens sometimes where I'll talk to someone and I'll like, hey, he was like, hey, I think I'd make a good guest on the podcast. I was like, cool, like I'd love to have you on. But what happened, like I stopped doing podcasts for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I did like a couple, 1 or 2, and like over time I met a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, like I'll have you on a podcast. So I have like 30 people lined up to come on the podcast, and sometimes I'm not the best at like communicating, like, hey, like it's gonna happen, like it'll happen down the road. Like I'm not sure exactly when I'll be able to have you on. But I think he got upset that I maybe took so long. I didn't have him on a podcast, and now he doesn't. Now he might be mad at me. So how do you deal with situations like that where like you tell someone, hey, like let's chop it up, let's do something, and then it's just like it just takes some time, What do you think is GTO dealing with that situation?
Dude, then you just got to be super stoked to get him on. You just got to message him and be like, oh man, I'm so excited to have you on. When can I get you? I've had it before too, where like I accidentally like double scheduled a break or something, and then you don't have time to say, hey bro, can I get you like on the next one? And like, am I putting like, did you just get demoted like down the batting line? Like right, I don't want you to feel like that.
Yeah.
And it is a touchy subject for sure, dealing with all of that and people's egos and stuff. But man, he's got all kinds of stuff going on. Like he should be fine. Does it seem like he's upset? Mm-hmm. It does.
I don't. He hasn't responded back to me twice. I messaged him twice. It's like, hey man, let's get you on the podcast. And no, I got nothing. That was it. I was like, I feel bad because I saw him in Vegas a couple of times too. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get you on. We're gonna get you on. So, I feel bad, like, because I want to have him on. He seems like a fun guy. I just spaced out. Like I play poker, man. That's still my number one thing, podcast, and I do for fun. Like I enjoy doing these. So it's like, something like I have this list literally like 50 people I want to have on, but like I can't do 50 podcasts a week. That would be, you can't get a chance to watch them then. So I need to space them out sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. And it is so delicate. It really is so delicate. And I think, especially when you're dealing with people a lot, like via direct messaging and stuff on Twitter, it's like, there's just not really a lot of time. Like you can't, I've definitely, and you don't want to be like the creepy ex-girlfriend where you've like asked a couple times and then you're like, should I ask again? Like, I don't know, yeah, like, are they, what's going on? But you want to be honest and just be like, oh man, like things have been so busy, but I've been so stoked to have you on. Like, are you still interested? And that's probably all you can do, or just give up.
Right.
But I had it with, I have it sometimes where someone will say, oh, I can't do it right now, but I want to do it later. And then like later I'll message like, are you ready? And then they'll be back like, oh, not yet, but maybe tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'm like, so now? And then like it can go on, and like pretty soon I'm like, are we in a relationship? Like I don't know if am I texting you too much? Like
yeah, I found that like it seems like when you start dealing like with, so most of the people I know, like I'm friends with them, like so it's easy to get them on the podcast. But when you start getting to people who are more like the names, or like the, like there's one person in particular, like Jamie Gold, who I tried getting on last December, and like it kind of went over time, like, oh, we'll do it soon. World Series, there was a couple times we were going to do it, and like it just never, like, it's not me. I'm making sure, I'm not trying to make it happen, but it's like it doesn't happen. And I feel like when you start dealing with these more, the name players who like are these, whatever, these personalities or something like that, like they just become fucking terrible to deal with. Like, it's like, talk to this person. I'm like, all right, dude, you just want to come on a fucking podcast or not? You know what I mean? You have to like jump through all these hoops and all that stuff like that. Like, oh, I'll set it up 2 weeks on Tuesday for an hour. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you just fucking like, we play poker, man. Like we're not like that. We're not on, I don't think we're doing anything with ourselves that are quite, to that extreme, but
I'm with you. And it's so hard. Like once anything hasn't happened right the way it's supposed to the first time, it just gets like super awkward. Even with us scheduling, like I'm like, okay, can it be Tuesday? And then I'm like, no, fine, Monday. And like I'm so used to it now. Like I understand like being on your side of it. So I know you just want to get it done. And you're like, yeah, like we'll figure it out. We'll get it done whenever it makes sense. But when you're the person that's asking, like, can we do it now? can we do it tomorrow? Can we do it next week? And it's not working. Like, man, it's so hard. And some people, I think they just don't want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll say yes, but really they're just going to like avoid you. And to me, it's like, you could just, people deny me for interviews all the time. And like, there's a polite way to do it that's fine. But what people will do a lot when they don't want to do an interview is just say, I'll do it later. And then you come back later, like, so do you want to do it now? But what they really meant to say was, no, I don't want to do it at all. Like, that's just my nice way of saying I don't want to do it. Phil Ivey does that a lot. Like, nah, I'll do it later. But then really what he means is I don't want to do it. But then you feel obligated that you have to come back as your, like journalistic duty or something. I have to keep coming. And lots of people do it. And I'm like, I wish you'd just say like, I really don't feel comfortable in the spotlight or whatever it is. Thanks. I don't have time in my schedule. Whatever it is, it's cool. Just don't keep me like hanging here like your ex-girlfriend. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be like that.
Have you thought about maybe doing like, getting back to creating on like, I mean, like, with YouTube, you can create all these fun things. Like you create videos, make videos. There's always like, do you think about doing stuff outside of poker or any more like film stuff?
I definitely do. So something I've been thinking about and working on getting back into. So I was like 2 years ago, I was trying to do makeup videos. So like, but I did it under the guise of anti-Chardonnay. So I would just like drink and put on makeup and videotape it. And the only thing with like actually good content good, well-produced, edited videos is they just take a long time. It just takes a long time.
Right. Yeah.
And I found that one of the keys with YouTube, especially, and Twitch is consistency. And so for someone like me I'm leaving on Monday, I'll be gone for a week, then I'm home for a week, then I'll leave for Malta for 2 weeks. And then it's like super hard for me to just keep a consistent schedule, but it is something on my goals for the coming kind of next phase of my life.
I think for that situation, it's like, you could do something that's spaced out, or you could do nothing. I mean, I think if you're doing something, so you already have a built-in audience. You already have people that think you're awesome. If they want to hear more from you, or they want to see more from you. So if you're putting out this content even slower at a time, they're probably gonna it's probably gonna be pretty good. I'm assuming because you have a great personality. You have the behind the scenes stuff to editing, and you have a good idea of what makes a good content. So if you're putting something out there, well, now it sort of gives people something to look forward to potentially down the road, or ask for more of, or be like, hey, when are we gonna see another episode? And I mean, I almost think it's like better to do something than not do anything at all.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I in the poker news environment, which is what I've been sort of trying to work within for a while, it's I definitely get a lot of pushback from a lot of the guys who are really, really into poker. And I mean, that they just want to talk about, strategy, and they think poker people only want to talk about these kind of things. And so sometimes I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle in trying to create content that's not as much about that. And I'm pretty much the only person, me and my like camera guys or whatever, are the only person on our like regular teams that see it that way, except for maybe my boss. I think my boss kind of gets it, but a lot of the other guys just think it's crazy and stupid. But happy hour did super well, so I might bring back happy hour. It's so much harder for me. It's interesting, this dynamic, because to me, I was really thinking that happy hour wouldn't work if I couldn't like peer pressure people from right next to them. But it might work like this actually. And also I should drink less on happy hour.
I don't know. I think drinking on the things is usually a good idea. I like drinking on my podcast. So like I learned how to drink whiskey on my I mean, I learned about whiskey from Ansky, Donnie Stern. He started drinking whiskey on a podcast. So I was like, oh, I'm going to try whiskey. And then I became really into whiskey, and that's all I drink now. So
also, he's someone that totally surprised me. He just seems so quiet and kind of soft-spoken, and obviously he's really smart, but he's funny. Like, what? I had no idea. He's funny. And yeah, in like a quiet way. You gotta catch him. But I really like Donnie also.
Yeah, Donnie's cool. We're gonna get him on a podcast again. He's been one of the favorite podcast guests we've had on here for a while. So we got actually I gotta wrap it up soon because I gotta go to my personal trainer here in about 25 minutes because
I'm trying to become
the fittest man in the world. I want to do MMA like your husband, of course, so I can get all the sluts, as you put it. What was it? How did it go? The MMA fighters get all the sluts. That was how you put it, correct?
Catnip for skanks.
Catnip for skanks. And I'm not really attracted to the skanky types I'm attracted to, but maybe you'll run good. You'll meet the skanky smart type who, you I don't know. I mean, maybe, yeah.
That's the one you want. Those are the best. That's the top of the game. Smart skanks.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, maybe. I guess that could be a good idea. I met some smart skanks in my time, I suppose. I think about that. Yeah, I think I have.
Shout out to Baby Metalhead before we go.
We gotta give Baby Metalhead a shout. He might be watching right now. He's a young Canadian man named Robert. Shout out to Robert, by the way. Okay, before we go, do you have a Hollywood Haxton impression, an Ike Haxton Hollywood Haxton impression for us?
No.
Why not?
No, I don't do impressions. Do you have one?
Impressions? He's like the glasses.
See, that's not fair. He's got the
glasses, and he's like, well, I think I could be like 22 first. I don't know, something like that. Whatever. I don't have it in me right now.
That was good. That was good.
I don't have it in me. But
no, that was really good.
Wait, so what do you have coming up here? You said you're going to Malta. You're going to what's your schedule looking like here?
Monday, I head out for the UK IPT Isle of Man, which is, I have no idea why we cover that for video. It's literally a 3-day tournament, but I think it's because Poker Stars is based in the Isle of Man, so they just want to have it come be showcased or something. And then Malta, after that, I think I leave like the end of October for Malta. I don't even remember anymore, but Malta was great. We went there earlier this year, and I thought it was super cool. I think it's it's like the Middle East meets like Southern Italy in a little one beautiful sort of Mediterranean.
That's a great way to put it. There's a lot of Italians there. I mean, it's funny. Actually, there's someone at my house right now who I met in Malta 3 years ago. So Malta's a great place. It really makes magic happen sometimes. And then you end up with a girl from Europe in your house, and she's from Malta, and you met her in Malta. So shout out to Malta. I love that place, man.
High five, Malta.
I love that place. Okay, we have to get you back. Normally, I would do these longer, but I don't have my person. I forgot. I scheduled with you, and then I had a personal trainer. I was like, wait a sec. What time is my trainer? I was like, 4 o'clock. Shit. All right.
Dude, so you gotta get that. You gotta keep that body straight. Get that game right. Listen, man, I'm here whenever you need me.
I'm trying to get the arms ripping and the triceps pulling and the shoulders. I'm trying to get the. I'm not married yet. I don't have a blonde supermodel as my wife yet. So.
Yeah, and then we just get fat as soon as you marry us. So. Keep your game straight. Get married, then eat whatever you want.
Is that true? Is that how it works? So I can stay in shape until I get married, and then I can let myself go?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the rule.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'll be back Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern with Max Steinberg. He's at the final table of the World Series of Poker, and he does daily fantasy sports.
And he's one of my favorites, too.
Is he one of your favorites, too?
Oh, he's the most genuine sweetheart. He cried in an interview. One of my favorite interviews I've ever done. Ever.
Should we try to get him to cry in the interview, you think?
Tell him that I love him, and I said his WSOP interview is one of my top 10 favorite interviews of all time. He'll know what. I will let him. He'll be like, oh, I had a little tear.
I will let him know. I actually have some ideas with you that I'll chat with you off of after we get done with the podcast, as we're after the stream. Actually, stay on here for a second after I close it out, and I have an idea I want to talk to you about. And then, guys, that's it. Much love. Thanks for all the comments, questions, everything. You guys were fucking awesome. We'll be back. Sarah loves you guys too. Thank you guys for all the nice comments about Sarah. A lot of people say they like your teeth. Shout out to your teeth. Your teeth are playing great.
It's my best feature.
The teeth? Yeah, you have I have the teeth, but they don't. Yours extend both sides, so it's really GTO.
I still wear my retainer. Still.
Well, you're playing great. They look great, man. They look great. So. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Much love. Adios. Guys on Twitch, I'll see you soon. And let me find someone to host real quick on Twitch. Hold on a second. Jay Song says, later, Sarah, you're chill. Jay Song's currently newly single.
Oh, get out there, boy.
She is married, Jay Song. Take it easy, Poppy. All right, let me find someone. Let me find someone to host. I'm going to wrap it up on YouTube. See you guys on YouTube. Yeah. Peace out.
Bye, YouTube.